The camera opens on a dim, rain-soaked street corner where a middle-aged man named Ramon sits beneath a flickering lamp. His hands tremble slightly as he tunes an old, cracked guitar, the same one he's played since his youth. The night air is heavy, yet when he begins to sing, something magical cuts through the drizzle. His voice, deep, warm, and uncannily reminiscent of Elvis Presley, rises like a memory from another time. Every note carries heartache, every lyric trembles with longing. Strangers rush past without noticing, their umbrellas shielding them not just from the rain but from the beauty unfolding a few feet away. Only one little boy stops, mesmerized by the sound. His eyes widen as he whispers, "Sir, you sound like Elvis." Ramon smiles faintly, his face lined with years of quiet struggle. "Ah, kid, Elvis sang to the world," he says softly. "I just sing to keep my heart alive." The boy records a few seconds on his phone before running off, promising to share it online. Ramon doesn't think much of it. He continues to sing, "Can't Help Falling in Love," his voice echoing down the empty street, the melody carrying a story of love, loss, and survival. As he plays, his mind drifts to the past, to a little girl clapping for him at her school concert, shouting, "Papa, one day the world will hear you." That promise faded when hospital bills buried his dreams and life forced him into silence. Yet tonight, beneath the rain, that same fire glows faintly again. Ramon closes his eyes, unaware that somewhere, across the digital world, the boy's short clip has begun spreading like wildfire, drawing hearts, igniting tears, and setting in motion a miracle he never dared to dream of again. The next morning, Ramon is awakened by the sound of laughter and hurried footsteps outside his small wooden home. He opens the door to find neighbors crowding the narrow street, waving their phones in excitement. "Ramon, you're famous," one of them shouts. Blinking in confusion, he leans closer to see the screen. It's his video, the one recorded by the little boy, playing over and over. His voice echoes through the speakers, wrapped in admiration and disbelief. Millions have watched. Millions have shared. Comments scroll endlessly. "This man has the soul of Elvis. He's not just singing, he's healing. Someone get him on stage." Raymond's eyes glisten, trembling between disbelief and gratitude. For years, he had sung to survive, not to be seen. But now, the world was listening. Then, a phone call changes everything, an invitation from a major televised talent show. Ramon freezes. "Me. But I'm too old," he whispers. His daughter, now grown and wearing her nurse's uniform, takes his rough hands gently. "Papa, you gave up your dreams for me. Maybe now, it's time to live them." Her words hit deeper than applause ever could. That evening, he packs his tattered guitar case, kisses her forehead, and murmurs, "For us, Anik." As he boards the bus to the audition city, the lights blur past the window like memories, every struggle, every sleepless night, every melody he refused to let die. The old man who once sang for coins now carries something greater than a dream. He carries proof that kindness, humility, and love can echo louder than fame. And as he hums softly to himself, unaware, the world is already waiting for the Filipino Elvis to arrive. The bright stage lights blind Ramon as he steps forward, gripping his guitar with trembling hands. The crowd quiets. Judges glance at each other, skeptical of the nervous, aging man standing before them. One whispers, "He looks ordinary." The host nods for him to begin. Ramon takes a shaky breath, then strums the first note, a soft, familiar rhythm that hushes the entire hall. His voice rises, deep and golden, carrying the weight of 1,000 untold stories. Every lyric feels lived in, every pause filled with the ache of years gone by. The audience leans in, drawn by the purity of his sound. For a few shining moments, time seems to stop. A single tear rolls down a judge's cheek. Another whispers, "That's not imitation, that's resurrection." Midway through the song, his fingers slip. His voice cracks. The silence that follows is sharp, cruel. He stares down, breathless, memories of lost chances flashing before his eyes, the factory job he took to pay for his daughter's medicine, the nights he sang to empty streets. Then, through the blur of stage lights, a voice calls from the audience, "Go on, Papa." It's his daughter. Her tears glisten like stars as she stands, clapping with trembling hands. The audience joins her, chanting softly, "Sing, sing." Strength floods back into him. Ramon lifts his head, voice trembling yet powerful, and finishes the song with raw, aching emotion. When the final note fades, the hall erupts in applause. A judge slams the golden buzzer, gold confetti rains from above. Ramon drops to his knees, overwhelmed, whispering through tears, "For her, always for her." The camera zooms in on his face, a man reborn not through fame, but through love. Overnight, Ramon becomes an international sensation. His video from the talent show spreads faster than wildfire, millions of views, countless reactions, endless tributes. But instead of being swept away by fame, he returns to the same street corner where it all began. The flickering lamp still hums above him. This time, the crowd that gathers isn't rushing by, they're listening, really listening. Ramon plays softly, surrounded by people who now know his name, his heart, his story. After his song, he quietly hands out food to the homeless sitting nearby, using his prize money to feed them. Music only matters, he says gently, when it feeds more than applause. The little boy who first filmed him appears again, clutching his camera shyly. "Sir," he says, eyes bright, "you changed my life." Ramon smiles warmly, patting his shoulder. "No, son, you changed mine." Instead of record deals, he opens a small community center, teaching underprivileged kids to sing and play instruments. His daughter helps organize lessons on weekends, proud of the man who turned pain into purpose. When asked by a reporter why he never left for bigger stages, he simply smiles and says, "The greatest stage is the one built from gratitude." As the sun sets, Ramon walks home through the same streets he once struggled to survive on. Children's laughter trails behind him. The golden light glows on his face, older, humbler, fulfilled. In that quiet evening breeze, it's clear he no longer sings for fame, he sings for humanity. For hearts that have forgotten hope. For every soul that just needs a song to believe again. Years later, Ramon stands on a grand stage once more, this time not as a contestant, but as a guest of honor. His hair has turned silver, his hands a little weaker, yet his presence radiates calm warmth. The event is an international award ceremony celebrating voices that changed humanity. The host introduces him, a man who proved that kindness, humility, and perseverance can move the world. The audience rises in applause as Ramon humbly bows, clutching his guitar. When he begins to sing, wise men say, his voice, though older, still carries that same soul-deep tenderness. But halfway through, he stops singing and looks toward the front row. There stands his daughter, eyes filled with pride, holding the hand of a small boy, the same boy who filmed him years ago. The crowd murmurs as realization spreads, the story has come full circle. Ramon smiles softly, voice trembling. "Tonight," he says, "I don't sing alone anymore." He kneels, hands his guitar to the child, and together they finish the song, 3 generations bound by love, kindness, and music. The entire hall stands, many wiping tears. As the applause roars, Ramon closes his eyes, whispering a quiet thank you. The camera pans upward, catching his weathered guitar resting on the stage floor, etched with 3 simple words scratched by hand: love, serve, sing. The screen fades to black as his final note echoes softly, lingering like a heartbeat in the silence. Then, in white letters, the words appear: real voices don't need fame, just hearts to hear them. The music swells, tender and hopeful. The final shot returns to that same rainy streetlight from years ago, now shining bright, warm, and steady, as if to say, the light of kindness never fades.